Good Sunday morning, and yes, we are back here at the Studio de Mars Hill, Chateau de Mars Hill studio. My dyslexia was kicking in there for a second. It is early on Sunday. Well, it's not super early; it's a little bit past 8:30. So you're ready for your weekly show reviews. Yes, four shows. We have four shows. No waiting. We have Brad Sawinski and Drew Weingarten on the rinse tonight at 7:30, and I think they're going to tackle abortion. Like, all right, let's. What could go wrong? Three guys talking about abortion with be Drew and Brad and Mark Small. That's a combination there that's never been seen since the Three Stooges. No offense, guys. That was a good show. I liked it. It was fun to watch. But sometimes it gets to they get into it. So I imagine this one's going to be an interesting show tonight at 7:30. You can catch that here live on our network and the Facebook pages and Brad's page. All those things you can find that there. Today, later, church pew review. I call that one of our, I guess, 4.5 shows. That's where I go to a different church every Sunday and do a review of the church. Not so much the religion as much it is the facility, the people, and of course the church pews. Where you want to be looking at the church pews and seeing what they're like. So you don't want to sit through a service if you're not going to be comfortable in the pews, right? Oh yeah. So we're going to be going to Lyndhurst Baptist right over here locally. I know they do a lot of community outreach. I've been to this church before, but it's been a minute. So that's why I decided to go today. So we're going to do that and look forward to that around. I don't know. I do it live on the Facebook and then transfer it over to TikTok. Getting some, we're getting some stuff there. We're getting some traction there on there. I still have not. I'm so close to making it to halfway through my goal of 1,000 followers. I'm at 491. It just seems like it goes. I'll get like a little string of them, and then all of a sudden nothing for a while. So anyway, if you're on TikTok, you know somebody on TikTok, tell them to go follow the dot Schmitz. That's my handle on the TikTok, the Schmitz, and it happens. So that's what we need there to get up to do live church peer review on TikTok. So all these social media platforms to keep track of. I mean, we are the Chateau de Marcel Studio Network goes on X, goes on Twitter. I mean, same thing. And Facebook. It goes on. It goes YouTube. Everything. Now, some of our audience is heavily more on YouTube, and I would say that would be true for Witty Reviews. Witty Reviews has quite the audience on YouTube. They watch his show on that, and that is at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays before the Mouthwash Show, which our program has more viewers on Facebook. So we do have a few on YouTube, and those are basically people that have been watching the Chateau de Marcel Studio Network have started watching all of the different shows that we have, and it's quite the plethora of viewpoints and. That's what our motto is here. We may not agree with your opinion, but we are sure going to try to respect it and have civil discord as we do such a thing. So and I don't know. Witty went out to Bucky's yesterday over in Ohio. He drove, I think, 112 miles. I believe it's 112 miles. He drove over to see what the heck that was like because he is doing some investigating on the Greenwood location that has been announced and the natives are up in arms. They're getting the tar and the feathers and the pitchforks out to go try to stop the Buckies. It's down there at Worthview exit. It's one of the newer exits off of 65 South. And you see my gray hair. I'm very old. My grandma used to live in Seymour, Indiana. We used to go down and see her in the 60s. And we I-65, believe it or not, from Edinburgh to Indianapolis was not existent. It was not there. So we would go down 31, get off at the Edinburgh there. If you got the those retail centers down there, the outlets that weren't there either. Is basically there was a Dog and Sons root beer stand, which we tormented my parents every time we'd come back. We'd go down on Sunday. We'd be coming back late, and your parents want to get home because they got to go to work the next day and all that. And we're like, we just badgered them. Me and my sister badgered them until they stopped. And we got one of those baby root beers from Dog and Sons down there in Franklin. The torment we put our parents through. It was awesome. Now that particular root beer stand is now a used car dealership. So things change, folks. Things change. In fact, I'm working on a Joanne Fabrics right now. We're turning it into an auto zone. So that tells you what's going on. Maybe the ladies are working more on their cars than on quilts anymore. But anyway, back to the programming. Back to the program. So when he went over to Bucky's, I'm sure he's going to be talking about that. I know they're doing the IURC interviews, and oh boy, where did I? I don't know where to start because I mean, full disclosure, I have put in my application twice now for the IURC, and I'm actually. Some people say, oh, how do you qualify being a host of the Mouthwash Show? How do you qualify for the IURC? Well, folks, just for I actually started a sewer utility from nothing. I had to do all of the tricks and all the things. I sat in front of the IURC for several hours down there and explained to them how I could run a sewer plant and build the sewer plant and do all that. And I just did that. They gave me the permit. I built the plant, and the plant is still working to this day. I have actually had to sell it with the subdivision when Main Source Bank bankrupted me. But hey, other than that, it was I could chalk it up as like paying for college. I paid to learn how this process works. Also, I was trying to start a regional sewer district down in Morgan County, and I know you'll find this shocking, but I ran into some political bureaucracy of folks that didn't understand how sewer districts worked. And after all the dust settled, one of the commissioners came up to me, boy, I wish we'd have known you knew all this stuff. We probably would have acted different. I go, oh gee, thanks. That water has sailed under the bridge a long time ago. So yeah, there's lots of going on. I've a lot of yeah, Tyler, that's exactly right. Smits does happen. And thanks, Tyler, for that. Let's look at this. Since Smits did happen yesterday. Yesterday, I'm getting off topic here a little bit. Yesterday, we had the God and Country Conference that was put on by the Hoosier Freedom Caucus, not to be mistaken with the Indiana Freedom Caucus. That's some people down in Evansville that are just trying to step on our toes a little bit because we were the first one to say Hoosier Freedom Caucus, and they decided to name theirs Indiana Freedom Caucus just to confuse people. But we are the good guys. We are the ones that are doing the things. So yesterday we had our annual meeting for Hoosier Freedom Caucus. If you want to sign up and get into a group that's, hey, we're not flashy, we're not out there. We're just trying to be common sense folk trying to figure out what's going on. Look it up. Hoosier Freedom Caucus on Facebook.com, all that stuff. And join today because it's a good little group. We've been slow but steady, but we are actually out there. We are a C104B, or I don't know, or some kind of nonprofit that is not. We cannot endorse candidates, but we can promote policy. So hey, you can stay out of some trouble doing that. You don't have to pick a side, and you can pick a topic and go after it. So say we don't want, see that big green tree behind me. We don't want those green trees chopped down in Indiana. My gosh, our group can go out there and say, hey, this person here is for not chopping down those big green trees in the background. So that just gives you an example of what we do and how we can do it. So we're trying to be basically influencers in the political atmosphere. So anyway, I'm going to show you some pictures here. This is a picture. We had some exhibitors here. That's Penny Bigelow. I mean, she is a trooper. Her and Jim, she runs an operation called Epic. I don't know what it stands for, election something or other, but they are making sure our elections are all good and have volunteers and all that. And then we had several other exhibitors here at this event. So here, I was the MC. Now here is, I took a selfie with all the people. And now Lisa is off there to the right in that row, and I missed the whole row, which I did hear about. I heard about the fact that she wasn't in the picture, but it was a good group. And then we also had the speakers that we had they were great. So Gary Barbo, Micah Beckwith, and Curtis Hill, they all had about 20 minutes to speak, each individually. And then yours truly got to ask them questions. And I think it went very well. We had our schedule was a little jammed up. But I was able to cut out a couple of rest areas for top, so we pretty much troopered on through without a break there for a while. But it was very interesting. The basically Gary Varvel gave a history lesson, and with his drawings, it was great. Micah Beckwith, as usual, he always has something to say. Preacher and a politician, boy, that's a double combo. And then Curtis Hill is always gracious and wise. Was explaining he basically explained the Trumpisms that are going on here and why maybe some people hate him, but some people like him. But anyway, that yesterday. God and Country. We had a good attendance. We were hoping for 100. We had 92, so I thought that was a success, to say the speak. I mean, that was a success. So anyway, that being said, Winter Reviews is going to talk about all those stuff. That's 8 o'clock Tuesday night. Then after that, we have Mouthwash, 9 o'clock. I think we're going to do current events. There's enough going on that we could do some current events. We may have a guest, but I think right now we're going to try a little bit more of our new format of going after, talking about more national events. So we're trying to do that. So what? Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, here we go. They talked about, the bad location. Sorry, further south would be better. More truck parking would be superior. Yeah, I'm biased. So, yeah, I think this Buc-ee's that they're talking about down there would not have any truck traffic, any semi traffic. So that obviously that'll be some good discussion. And I do agree that if you go to Ohio, you're going to see a little bit more of a touristy attraction. Now, I've been driving back and forth to Florida as we were making our transition, and I passed the Buc-ee's with no problem. I've been to one time I went, and it's fun. I think everybody should go one time. But I'm not. I'm like, I don't like to stop. So I got a couple places I stop on the way. I usually make one stop, depending on what vehicle I'm in. My big black truck, it rolls with one stop. You get one tank of gas and get there. So that's how that goes. And it's usually not Buc-ee's. But, if I have time, I might stop in again. I guess they got really good gummy worms and candies and briskets and whatnot. But I think it's more of a tourist, I'm not going to say trap, but maybe attraction. So anyway, that's my little dissertation on Buc-ee's. So I just don't trust that little beaver, man. He's got them little teeth sticking out there. I figured, bite me or something. But anyway, I digress. Mouthwash. We're going to talk about national stuff. We're going to try to talk about that. Okay, and then our new show, Nicole in all caps with a K, because I can't say her last name is Kappas. I'll get it. I will get it. I'll make a pledge to be able to speak Kappa. I'll figure it out. It just takes me a minute. It took me like 3 months to say apostolic. I could not say apostolic church to save my life. And look at what I've done. I've made it. It's a combination of ADHD and dyslexia makes for confusion in my brain. So it's all good. So we have those 4 shows plus Church Peer Review this week. So hopefully you'll be able to get in and watch some of those, all of those, or whatever. And we appreciate the viewership as we grow. And I do believe we might 5 show this thing. I think Tiffany is going to do the floss. So we got how do you do that? How would you do that? You do the floss, the mouthwash, and the rinse, or the rinse, the floss, the mouth. There's an order to your dental hygiene. And I think that maybe I should just change it from Chateau de Mars Hill to the Dental Hygiene Network. That's I guess you could sink your teeth into that one. So anyway, yeah, I did say quite a few bad dad jokes yesterday as MC of that event. And they were, I always have to give that disclaimer. A groan is as good as a laugh on my bad dad jokes. So anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in, and keep watching. Tell your friends. We gained 53 new followers on Mouthwash. And I think part of that, I'm going to give half credit to Nicole, all in caps, because I think those are a lot of her people that are coming over and watching. So we're just glad to give her a platform. She may have some other shows coming on, but we're, hey, just keep watching. We try to keep it making better, more shows, more selections, all that. Hey, you know what? We're just doing our best. Remember our motto: we may not agree with your opinion, but we're sure going to try to act and respect it. So there you go. That is it. I think hold on a second. I'm not ready to do that. I want to do an ending. Yeah, let's do the Let's do the cool ending with the Stairway to Heaven thing on. Let's do that one. All right, guys, everybody. Church Peer Review Later Day Live. Brad Swinsky, Drew, and Mark Small at 7:30 tonight talking about something. Hopefully, don't get a big fight. Witty Review is going to do the Buc-ee's review on Tuesday, 8 o'clock, followed by Mouthwash at 9, talking about current events. And then Nicole in all caps, she will be talking about burning the bridges in Madison County. So there you go, folks. Who could argue with that lineup? See you later. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends to follow, like, and all those things we need to have happen. See you. Bye.